Indonesia's geographic location on the Ring of Fire, an arc of volcanoes and fault lines encircling the Pacific Basin, makes the country very prone to natural disasters. Indonesia has experienced many earthquakes and tsunamis affecting literally hundreds of thousands of Indonesians who have been killed, injured, or displaced in their wake. The Indonesian government, school teachers, humanitarian aid workers have all expressed a strong need for effective and efficient trauma relief techniques for survivors of these natural disasters. Deepak Mostert, a therapist experienced in the field of trauma and shock, was invited as a volunteer to set up a first response trauma program in the Yogyakarta area directly after a huge earthquake in May 2006, which caused nearly 6,000 deaths and an estimated 1.5 million homeless. His trauma relief program consisted of training over 1,000 children, teachers, adults, and volunteers using various forms of energy psychology, including emotional freedom techniques, and were aimed at decreasing the levels of shock and trauma in the area. Using energy psychology methods in disaster areas proved to be incredibly effective, efficient, and well accepted within Indonesia's many cultures and religions. Due to the positive effects and many requests for training, Deepak set up a humanitarian organization in Indonesia in 2007 to provide trauma relief programs and trainings on an ongoing basis. As such, Deepak became the first person in the world to provide mass trauma relief programs in disaster areas using EFT and training volunteer first response teams to move into areas immediately after a disaster to reduce levels of trauma, shock, and intense emotions. Small teams of volunteers were able to create a multiplier effect by using a train-the-trainer approach. This unique international humanitarian aid organization called TrestAid, which stands for Trauma Relief and Emotional Support Techniques, has positively affected the lives of close to 1 million men, women, and children after 7 separate disasters. It is the first humanitarian aid organization of its kind in the world to use and structurally integrate energy psychology into disaster management. In addition to providing group and individual sessions for bringing relief to trauma victims, Trust also works with HIV-positive groups, homeless single mothers, street children, and first-team responders who in their work are witness to traumatic incidents like the aftermath of bombings, hostage situations, and body recovery. If you feel the work and techniques that Trust is doing in Indonesia is worth spreading through the world, please forward this email to your friends and other interested parties, like relief organizations, news agencies, and public officials. You can also donate, since Trust receives no government funding and relies solely on donations to operate its trauma relief programs. For more information, don't hesitate to contact Deepak on his website at www.trestaid.com or like their page on Facebook. Trust is built on Deepak Mostert's vision to increase trauma awareness and reduce levels of trauma throughout the world. He feels inspired by the words of Gandhi, "Be the change you wish to see in the world."